ஓகே.
வணக்கம் ரவி. இன்னைக்கு 14ஆம் தேதி ஏப்ரல் மாதம் 2022ஆம் ஆண்டு. நாங்கள் தொடர்ந்தும் ஸ்ரீலங்கா இன் கிரைசிஸ் பற்றி நிறைய பேசிக்கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். இன்றைக்கு அடுத்த தலைப்பில் பேச இருக்கிற விஷயம் இந்த இந்த ஸ்ரீலங்கா இன்றைக்கு இருக்கிற இந்த குழப்பகரமான இந்த ஃபெயில் ஸ்டேட் சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இருந்து எக்கனாமிக்கலியா ஃபியூச்சராக வளர்றதுக்கு என்ன பாசிபிலிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு, எப்படி ரிகவர் பண்ண முடியும், அல்லது ஏற்கனவே இழந்து போன இளமையை திரும்ப பெற முடியுமா, அந்த இளமைக்கும் இந்த இந்த ரிகவரிக்கும் உள்ள ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் எப்படி வரும், அது எப்படி இந்த புலம் பெயர் நாடுகள்ல இருக்கிற எங்கட மக்கள் கையாள முடியும், அல்லது வெளிநாடுகள் எப்படி கையாள போகுது, இவை எல்லாத்தையும் விட தமிழ்நாடு இந்தியா எப்படி இருக்கும், எப்படி கையாளும் அல்ல உதவும், இந்த விஷயம் பற்றி ரவி உங்களுடைய கருத்துக்களை சொல்லுங்க.
Right, Sodi. It is a very broad question. First of all, Sri Lankan economy from day one is a difficult economy because we in a model which is not suited for us. What is the economy we brought? We had a plantation sector, which the Europeans came and destroyed all the forests and they planted. Obviously, a cash cow which brought money to us, and we were happy with it. But we didn't realize, first of all, whether we had any paddy or any productive agriculture there or not. We didn't think major causes generally for environmental sense. So we relied on, we didn't know how to transform it from that to something else. India, for example, or more recently, they look at the Arab countries. They realize their petrol is running out. Then they need to do something about it. Of course, they have the money. But the problem is how to invest it wisely, how to do the transformation. Now, Second World War scenario, where that's with our economy coincided. The Japan, for example, they went into this idea that they borrow, in some sense, or exchange raw materials, and they will make it into finished. They competed with the European market and American market. They were pricing themselves in somewhere, and though they were able to transform from a feudal economy to the other one. In our case, we are a feudal state, at the same time inheriting a cash crop based economy, tea and rubber and coconut and cocoa. And these ones are people who came and planted there so that they can take it outside for themselves. It's not for us. It's not for our use. We were asked to use tea. We got used to the idea of drinking tea. Yes. It's like we will get used to smoking dope and ganja or cocaine because some of the drug smugglers are passing through Sri Lanka. One day we will become users of it. It doesn't mean drug is our Sri Lankan economy. So the same idea, we didn't have that forward thinking. What are we going to do when these prices, which are fixed by outsiders, it is for the outsiders. It is planted here for the outsiders. Our land is taken out for the outsiders. When it fluctuates, what do? We don't have that idea. So what did we do? End up doing? We send our people as stateless to work in the Middle East, having made our own people stateless. So this is what we were achieving. So we didn't know how to transform it. So now we are left with the country. The elephants has no place to live. People have no place to live because they are encroaching on the land everywhere in order to plant a bit more. But we are relying on the cash crop more and more, which is now owned by foreigners. It's no longer our land, those lands. They are owned by companies which are registered locally, but actually owned somewhere else. So they are out of bounds as well. We talk about Colombo Harbor, but plantation area is out of bounds too. You can't touch it. This is not true. So it's not just Colombo Harbor. So virtually most of the land is now productive land is out of our hand. This is the biggest problem. So connecting with the protest, what is that we can do? The only way to do it, and second thing is that you, as you saw earlier on, their education. Our universities are not geared up towards it. You see, all is Indian economy, for example, they produced institutes, government-funded institutes, which were basically going around trying to see whether you can produce more food, can we create indigenous systems such a way that they can upgrade their soil, upgrade their productive values, yield values, upgrade their investment. All these things they were trying to do. Local institutes. If you look at our institutes, do we have institutes? No. Our institutes are centered around universities. Even that one, we only had two, Colombo and Kandy, which includes the associated agricultural one and the engineering one.
Yes.
Right? These are the three places, two places.
Yeah.
And only now we understand you have to have regional bases to include the regional people. This is only now. But even now, they are mostly centered around sending people over here, not for their own people. Their education is not based on what can we do to the local economy, but is what can you do to the international economy. Where we can earn some money and bring it back and build a couple of so this is where we are going wrong. So the question is, how do we uproot ourselves in order to root ourselves better? So we have to pull it out in order to plant new roots, our roots. So this is the thing they have to decide. We can't decide it from outside. So the protest, if it's going anywhere, as I said earlier on, it has to be village-based, Grama Saha based, Pradesh Sabha based. If they want to talk about economy in that sense, they have to start to look at their own institutes, local institutes. They have to build some. In other words, economy has to be transformed into local economy. Otherwise, we will lose whatever we got now as well. The land will be lost because land is now, anywhere in the world is a important commodity. Land with water is a prime location, right? Location, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
So we are going to be in trouble for that anyway. More than that, Sri Lanka is now, unlike before, you see, before that, Sri Lanka was used as a kind of pathway to undermine India maybe, or undermine local other countries maybe, but it's no longer. It can play a more constructive role in the sense is now is by route to all the South Asian economies, Indian economy, most importantly Burmese economy, right? So now we are in a place where our real estates, for people to come and sit there and do something else somewhere else, not do anything there, for them to have a place for them to rest their money, rest their bums, and rest their souls, rest anything, so that they can pass through us. So we are going to become a floating vessel, like, somewhere like a ship, cruise ship, right? But floating all the time. So this is a worry. So if you want to do it away from that, we have to transplant the economy completely. We have to go for something with a hybrid economy, something like you have a 5-year plan based on rural economies, but at the same time upgrading all the time. So the quality of, eventually we can't rely on economy based on agriculture alone, because we won't have enough land to do that. So we need to upgrade ourselves so fast, at least we can match up with southern states of India. This is where the thing is. But how do you do that? Can we do it on our own? I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't think so. Even our expertise, which we claim very cleverly, or you and me going there and working, that's not true. Our expertise are not good enough. Our expertise are poor. Okay, we can sounds great, we can talk great, but our expertise is poor. Now this, you asked me something about Tamil Nadu and you talk to me, and now we'll continue with it. You tell me what you have in mind.
Okay. This is, I remember just before, in the interview, when you're talking to me, you told me this is a strategical important the Sri Lanka now have.
The strategic importance is Sri Lanka now, because it becomes, you see, when you become a cheaper, vulnerable land,
Yes.
When you become cheaper,
Mm.
everybody wants to have a piece of the land. So it becomes very easy to come and land. So it's not strategically important in that sense. So anybody who wants to have a piece of land, they will come. If you think about it, lots of countries, including Bangladesh, even India for itself, Taiwan, Thailand, they bought huge amount of land in Africa because it's cheap. They didn't buy it because they're going to make use of it. They bought it and see what happens later. Maybe we can dig something out. You know what I mean? So they have but the point is, but Sri Lanka is in a location which is the cross-border, cross-path towards Southeast Asian nations, South American nations, African nation, Middle East nation. This Asia is growing. Asia is becoming a center of attraction. And anybody who wants to have some kind of bridge, somewhere to stay, somewhere step over, they will want to have a port. Sri Lanka is going to become a big port. The whole country is going to become a port, not Trincomalee and Colombo, but it's a whole country is going to become a port. That's a worry.
Similar to the one we have now in Hambantota.
The whole country is going to become a Hambantota. That's what our worry is. The point is different kind of ports, money port, people to land port, people to service port, all kind of things. They need it because they can't. The countries like India won't allow that. They won't allow it in their own territory. China is not going to allow it for this kind of behavior in their own country. You can't build a Doha in China. They won't allow it. They will build probably in Bangkok if they want to, but not in China. Similarly, Japan is not going to allow that either. They didn't. For all these troubles, they didn't allow that. They were happy with Hong Kong. See, so the thing is, Sri Lanka is a location which, when we can't care for ourselves, anybody will come for a piece of land. So this is my worry. So the point is, again, so a lot of people will argue, oh, there are some jobs coming anyway. Oh, these people are investing, that people are. Yes, you are. Then you will say the same thing. We don't have enough economy, money in order to feed yourself. It's always somebody else's money you have to feed you. And you are waiting for it. If it dries up, you are in trouble. If it is coming in large amount, you will say it's fantastic. But then when it stops, you will say, oh, it's terrible. So we will go in this fluctuating situation. So we need to have an economy based on our own basis. So the only thing I can say, if you look at Tamil Nadu economy. Now, Tamil Nadu economy 10 years ago was only $70 billion. 10 years ago. Now it's 330 billion or more. Now it's 10-fold increase, 8-fold increase, right? 8-fold increase. In the meantime, Sri Lanka gone downwards, right? So Sri Lankan prospects of increasing that amount is not there. That's the first thing. Second thing is we already decided it's a bad management. They can't manage it. The executive failure is accepted by the executive themselves. Right? So they said we are a failed state anyway. Sorry, don't ask our money. So we don't have anything. We are claiming bankruptcy, but we want to live happily. Right? That's what they're saying. Now, as a state, right? In other words, we don't have the money to pay for the mortgage, but we won't come out of the house.
Yes.
Right? We want to live here, mate. This is our house. Okay? But if we mortgage the house, yes, your house is the bank's house. The bank want to put it on auction? No, you can't put it on auction. So, if it is a normal house, they'll put it on auction and sell it. If it's for you and me. But as a country, they can't do it. Well, how they can auction it, of course, piece by piece. That's what they will do. So the question now is, what about Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu, we were making fun of Tamil Nadu all our lives, right? For some reason, we did that. We thought that. Why? Because we were always in a higher plane. We had a higher literacy rate. We had that. We had this, better education system. We had wages. Oh, every time we look at Tamil Nadu, we thought that these buggers are bloody shit. Now, Tamil Nadu is in a different position. They are offering food, all of us. Free food. So we are now in a position, okay, give us something. Now, but why we want to borrow things? Why we want to beg for things? Why, if you are begging, you are a beggar. How can the beggar can be independent? I never understand the logic. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
Why don't you accept? Listen, I don't want to be a beggar. I don't mind working with you. You give me some work, I'll work for that wage. In other words, I'm saying, look at how they grew up, what they have done. So Tamil Nadu economy, put it in a nutshell. What are they doing? Let's talk about it in a simple sense. 33% industrialized. 33% industrialized, which is more than Ukraine. Right? Ukraine, we are now shortage of sunflower oil and all other field oils because Ukraine and Russia is not sending oil to us in London. We have a big problem. Okay? So this is what their base is, right? But South India is not doing that. They are into finished goods. Even leather, they buy it from other states. They're tanning it and making it finished goods, and they are selling it. So they are industrialized to the point of finishing. It's a finishers. So even if you take, so all the companies like Motorola, Ericsson, so all the top electronic companies, even pharmaceutical companies, more importantly, petroleum companies, this is a worry, right? They are becoming based in South India, Tamil Nadu. Now it has become the largest software writer. Now it's very strange. A lot of people think it's Bangalore. Not really. It's becoming Tamil Nadu. Now, Gujarat is the only state which can claim a little bit more industrialized because Modi is putting, because of his Gujarati background, giving extra incentive to locate factories over there, foreign factories. But actually, most of the factories would prefer to be here because education is much better. South India, Tamil Nadu has 525 engineering colleges. 525. This is the largest in any state of India. How many engineering colleges we have in Sri Lanka? For a what's the population in India? Tamil Nadu is only twice as much, 41 million. We have 20 million here. We can't even boast a single engineering college to that quality there. So the question is, what do we do? My argument is, forget about talking to, I mean, I don't understand. I hope this is a fantasy, of course. I'm only proposing as an idea, but our people won't buy it because they have pride in their mind and food in the belly, right? So they have no brain up here, but more anger and angst. So they won't buy these things. But if you look at it, I would say you can talk about two things in one go. One is we will finish this Tamil issue and the single issue once and for all by agreeing to a buddy system with Tamil Nadu. In other words, sharing good practices. We will join as a country as part of the economy on there. In other words, we will virtually become Tamil Nadu economy or Southern state economy. Don't call it Tamil Nadu economy.
Right? Southern state economy.
Southern state economy. We don't care about what it is. But of course, India has to open it up. They should offer Sri Lankans no visas, no bloody citizenship issues. They should come and go as they please. Sinhalese and Tamils, no difference. Same people. Settle anywhere you like.
So what do you say, Ravi? Is eventually is going to become a part of India then later?
But that's the only way we can survive intact as a country, at least for a foreseeable future. Otherwise, you will be sold piece by piece, land by land. The question is, we won't have any dignity left. We won't have anything left for ourselves. The question is, see, sometimes the sovereignty allows us. Sovereignty is the question of sovereignty. What do we do with the sovereignty? Sovereignty is the people's will. Is their rights over their securities. If your security cannot be guaranteed by yourself, then you have to ask help from somebody else, or you share that security with others. So I'm suggesting, say your sovereignty with India, but particularly with South India. And in my preference, Tamil Nadu, because South India is a broad thing. I don't think Canada people understand Sri Lankan people. They don't care about it. Tamil Nadu people care about it, at least the Tamils. Tamil Nadu people at least care about the Tamil people. But in time, they will understand it is better to care about the Sinhalese too.
They are other people as well.
As well, because they are Dravidian people too. So I'm proposing the Dravidian Kalaham, a greater Dravida idea. Look, include the Sinhalese people and create a greater Theravada nation, right? Forget about all these narrow views.
நீங்கள் அடிக்கடி சொல்ற இந்த திராவிட தேசம் திராவிட நாடுன்ற விஷயத்துக்கு இப்ப என்ன நடக்க போகுதுன்னு சொல்லுங்க.
But Theravadism is very strong in South India as an economy. As a people, are they strong? Because they seem to be more infatuated with English than Tamil.
Yeah.
And same with the Sinhalese as well. We are all infatuated with the English culture and English things, and we are very Anglophiles and the English themselves.
Yeah.
So we are more English than English people. So that is a normal thing. But the thing is, in times, if we can recover some self-dignity, then we will start to recover the Tamil things and Tamil things and Tamil culture and so on. That's what we are doing as foreigners here. See, in this country, we think about more Tamil issues, Tamil culture, than the people who are living in Tamil areas. Why? Because we know the values more what we have lost than the values they themselves have. They don't value it there because they look at us and thinking, these guys will talk about Tamil culture, but they are living happily over there.
Yes, true.
So for them, English is more important, which is right. But on the other hand, once they become richer in their own countries, they're secure in their own country, they start to think about, I don't have to speak English anymore. I'm okay. I can speak Tamil as well as English because I'm here. See, this is what is happening to the Tamil Nadu place. You see, most of the a lot of people are coming into this country as so-called software technicians, but they are actually coming here as cleaners, in my opinion.
Yeah,
very low-grade jobs.
Yeah.
They're not really technicians. They're top-level jobs are not there. These are cheap jobs they come in. But these guys, they are qualified people.
Yeah.
So once they have an opening over there, they are jumping back.
They're skilled.
They're going back.
Yeah.
Because they have a better life. They don't have to pretend to be English anymore. They can be there. They're happy. So this transformation is possible because economy has grown up. See, the per capita at the moment is $3,500. 10 years ago, it's not even $1,000.
Yes, true.
You see, this is the thing. And I was listening to some of the interviews by this the finance minister of Tamil Nadu. Now, I was actually shocked because this guy can talk statistics properly, not for political purpose, for his own financial purpose. So what he says is the politicians are now having to employ people who are technocrats as ministers. They can't simply appoint Anna Sami, Anna Chama, Talavar, all these fantastic poets and philosophers as ministers. Or what they can do, only write poetry.
Yeah.
Now they are appointing people who can talk poetry in financial terms,
yes,
in statistical terms, in mathematical terms, in other words, logically terms, which is different if you listen to some people in central government in Delhi. Why? It shows a difference between the growth.
Yeah.
Here, the growth demands technologically able people. Growth demands technically clever people.
Yeah, yeah.
They can't simply come and talk waffle anymore. They can't talk rubbish and get away with it. Even Stalin has to learn it. See, you have seen all these people who talk Karnadi family have disappeared. Kanimoli has gone. Because you can't live on Tamil alone.
Yeah, that's
you have to now talk language properly.
The international language. The
international language of economical
language. The modern way of approach.
Modern way of addressing the real issues rather than bullshitting around the issue.
Yes.
So you have to, but even now we are talking not focused. We are talking around the things. We are talking anything we want. This is not technical language.
Yeah.
We are trying to explain to people. But the technical language is more acute, is more specific. And we are needing more and more ministers like that there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very surprised. The Home Minister talking very precise language, not waffled like this we are doing now.
Yeah, we can't talk anymore like that. Yeah, it's good.
They are very precise. So this shows our level is more. So even now, look at our leaders in these crises. In Sri Lanka, whether they are Tamils or Sinhalese, I haven't heard anything from the leaders who are speaking specific language. Except maybe reluctantly, I'm admitting, Sumandra. right? I don't
Yes.
like that personally. I don't like that person, but he knows the language,
Yes.
right? Why? Because he's reading, he's
Yeah.
learning, he
That's true.
cares.
Yeah.
He cares about the language he speaks. He has personal pride.
Yeah.
He has educational pride.
Yes.
So he has professional pride. So I'm not pandering to him. I don't care about him. I don't like the person because he's been always kind of arrogant. His attributes are not my kind.
That's
but
true.
somebody who has something, you have to accept it.
Hmm.
You say, yes, this person is talking something, but what he does politically, that's a different thing. Anyway, but if you talk to, I was listening to the Premadasa, and he was talking as though he's reading from the paper.
Yeah, it's
some
true.
kind of newspaper. It's a common man's sense he's talking.
Yeah.
It's some rubbish. He couldn't say anything. The only other person I listened to so far, because I didn't access many people, is the former President Ranil. He could talk language which international community can understand. Even idiots like me can understand. So it shows the ability to grasp the idea, grasp it, and to understand this is what it is really. We can talk about big things, a cake, but how is the cake is made? You have to know little bits and pieces in there. It's boring bits. That boring bits are the most important bits.
Okay, the future possibilities are can you talk about IMF? How IMF going to react? How is what's going to happen? IMF, what the expectations might be?
Well, you see, IMF is a micromanager. It's not a macro manager. So he comes in, they will come micromanage your economy. In other words, subsidies are big no-go for them. But then IMF has also reformed itself. He understood, they understand, the capitalist economy understand, caring for people, what they call it human indices, like, health, provision for health, provision of food, provision for some kind of amenities. We should give them some subsidies. That's okay. So the government can get away by borrowing money to subsidize these kind of medical systems on a minimal level, of course, not to the amount they want to do it, but to the minimal level, they will allow it. But subsidy to the army, big problem. Subsidy to the Buddhist clergy, big problem. That's why they are out there with their Gavi group and army clothes. They are now worried how many of them can actually receive state benefits. They are already closing Buddhist stupas everywhere, temples everywhere anyway. So these guys are going to congregate in urban areas as well, right? So these are problems. So they have to understand. So this is a big problem. So subsidies are a problem. But then would they allow subsidies to engineer the revival of our agriculture? That is a key question. I will say no, because it put directly in conflict with the dollar economy. Because you are now competing for commodities which they push it on you as free food. They produce a lot of wheat. They stuff it on your face as free wheat, as a so-called aid. You eat and die that bloody bread. That's it. You become dependent on it. Do you want rice? No, forget the rice, mate. Eat bread. Eat chapati. Right? This is a message. So we will try to condition us into turning into eating wheat-based food.
Yes.
European-based food. Or food which are surplus over here, which can be dumped on us.
Yes.
So our farmers will die.
Yes.
Okay. So this is so IMF is not going to go against the grain at the moment. That's why the Russian and Chinese views are very important, which we'll talk another time. But the most important thing is the dollar economy demands controlled by IMF and the World Bank on the world market, how the world market is organized. So they can't allow it to slip from that. For that means commodity control, as well as labor control, as well as the demand and supply. They have to control all of that. This is a problem. So IMF is a serious problem for us, but in some sense, not as bad as those days, because they do allow subsidies for amenities.
Okay.
That's the only difference. If you're happy with that, you're happy with that. I'm not happy with that. See, I rather be part of an economy which look after me in a proper way. Now, why am I saying all this? I must also give you some numbers. Now, Sri Lanka has been receiving Indian money even during the time India is supposed to be on the Tamil side.
Yeah.
They do the subsidies in many different ways. Okay, for example, when the crucial time, they stopped selling tea to the world. They said, Indian tea, we need it for ourselves. Now, what it meant is it put the prices up of the tea in the world market. Second thing is it allowed the Sri Lankans to have more currency for their war.
Yeah.
So another way of subsidizing Sri Lankan economy.
Yeah.
So the subsidies doesn't have to be directly handed out money.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah. So if you look at it from then, I'm talking about 20 years back.
Yeah.
If you look at it, they have been subsidizing Sri Lankan economy on average about $3 billion.
Oh.
Yeah. So by now, so I'm talking about, let's say 10 years, they have at least given $30 billion to Sri Lanka, one way or the other, in all kind of subsidies. Now, if you look at the situation like in, say people like Bihar, they take the taxes from in South India, they give it to them poor over there.
Yeah.
Bihar is not any bloody money. They are living on the southern states, right? So, Punjabis are over there. They are producing wheat and flour and everything, but actual money is not enough. But of course, they are pulling into the bread basket.
Yeah.
But actual, in terms of pound for pound, in terms of dollar economy, they are not pulling much money into the country.
Yeah.
But they subsidize, in other words. Now, their numbers are putting $3 billion in Sri Lanka. You already subsidizing Sri Lankan economy anyway. So you are part of India already.
Already part of India, yes.
Part of India is a joke. I mean, so all these separations are in our mind.
Yeah.
Not in practical sense.
Yes, true. Yeah.
All these borders we have are lies. They don't exist. They are emotionally there. They are technically there. In constitutionally there.
Yes.
But practically, no. It's as I said, we are living in a house. Our house is being mortgaged to somebody else. In reality, they can come and kick us out. But we are saying, no, we are not getting out because this is our country, because we are put a flag outside. This is it. So as far as I'm concerned, Tamil Nadu economy is a very suitable buddy system. Right? For that crowd. Yeah. But the Tamils leadership also growing. You can see that Stalin didn't say only the Tamils.
Yeah, yeah.
He will also help the Sinhalese also.
Yeah, he's right. So, he's looking after Sri Lanka as a one whole.
As a one whole country. So now you see that this extension, if I said it, it looks silly. But when he says it, it's real because he's man with the money.
Yeah, that's right.
So man with the economy. So when he says it, it includes it. That means it guarantees, in some sense, the worries Sinhalese have about the southern state. So it will also, go back in history and put some of these mental block out of the way. Can we work with the Tamil Nadu people? Yes, you can, because all your historical Buddhist artifacts are in Tamil Nadu, not anywhere else. You can go to North India for one or two things, but the Sri Lankan Buddhism depends on Tamil Nadu. That's it.
Enough we talk a lot about that possibilities and what's going to happen, what would happen, what is the best, what might be the best.
But the other bit I didn't say is a village-based economy. We have to go back. As I said, if you are a Karnar person, my view would be there are 7 Grama Sagas.
Yes.
Get them together and have a meeting. How do we now make use of these protests to achieve what we want? Everything we have to ask is whether it's a Russian war, that war, this war, protest. What do we get out of this for our people? When you say our people, it is not good enough to say Tamils because it's not convincing for me. Right. When you say my family, I believe you.
Yes.
Because I know you believe in your family. Yes. But when you say, no, my whole people, I don't believe you. You will say it for a while, but then you stop it.
Yes.
But it's better if you say my village.
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
My relatives, my known people. Yes. My known people who are depending on each other.
Yes. And then, include the people who are not relatives by including the other villages, which you think there's a lower caste, that caste, this caste, that, bring them together.
That will come together.
Share that. And don't even talk about Vattukota.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. If you want to avoid Batuqueta and go all the way to Moratuwa, you can do so now.
Yes.
Because you can twin with even Kingston here,
Mm.
right? In London. Okay. So because some people have twinned it, Jaffna and Kingston, you know that, yeah?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you want to do all that, the global perspective allow you. So start with the village. That's our key. Make it into a steel ball. Then we can talk about foreigners and their intervention, IMF and all that kind of stuff. Because in the end, sovereignty is what we are, not what we think we are.
Okay, Ravi. Thank you very much.
Thank you.